Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, IGS Hyderabad chapter, Madhav sir, Dr. Basa, Dr. Siris, and all the organizers who are involved organizing this event. And we are very much thankful for the giving opportunity to share our experiences. So today the topic which I have selected with the mutual consent with the other speaker also. So basically I'll speak on the comparison of the design standard. So what all are the standard available in India for the designing reinforced soil wall? So I'll just try to do the comparison of the major parameters, and that we'll see in my presentation. So the contents of my presentations here, I will just go brief about the retaining structures and reinforced soil wall because it is required to just switch over to the design aspect. So I have covered, might be some overlap will be there with the previous speaker also, Jimmy sir. But I just taken some few slides only to just have a flow of this my presentation. And in the design aspects, I have considered design philosophy, then codes and design standards, availables and people following for the designing reinforced soil structures. And then I have just taken one design example, which I have just published in one of my international paper. In that I have just compared the various parameters for designing of reinforced soil structures based on BS 8006 and ASTO, and then conclusion based on this my comparisons. So start with the first, some overview. So as we know that the earth retention is the issue if we don't have any of the structure against to just give a effect for the whatever the earth pressures are coming to resist that. So we can have the externally civilized systems such as concrete gravity wall, then RCC cantilever wall, counter fort, then Gabion walls, creep walls. All are the externally civilized systems which we can consider as a gravity structures. And internally civilized systems is a reinforced soil, anchored earth, multi-anchored systems, and soil nailed walls. So all are internally civilized systems. So which can be used as per the requirement and as per the site specific conditions. So there is a classic reinforced soil walls, as we have already seen in the earlier presentations. So there is a failure line considering the reinforced soil wall, and whatever the vertical loads are coming, it is transferred through the reinforced and soil interaction behavior, and the maximum tension we can consider at the failure line. So this is the reinforced soil wall mechanism. Just a minute. Yeah. So typical cross section. So all the components which are involved in a reinforced soil structures. So if you can see, there is a facings, various kind of facings are there, reinforcements are there, then the fill materials are there, crash barrier friction slabs are there, you can have a leveling pad below, and the drainage systems. So all are the considerations one designer has to do when they are just designing any reinforced soil structures. So if we come to the reinforcement, there are inextensible and extensible reinforcement, as we already gone through. So steel strips, welded wire mesh, we can consider is an inextensible one, and extensible is the geogrid straps and geotextiles. So it's a metallic and polymeric is a broader classifications for this reinforcement for the reinforced soil structures. Various facings options are there. Either you can have a block, you can have a small panel, you can have a larger size of panel, you can have a welded mesh, and without any of the facing, you can go with the wraparound fascia also. K-beams can be also used with the reinforcement for the various applications. In river treating works also, it has been established system with the geosynthetic. So all these facings are well accepted, and all the facings have been utilized for so many soil structure, reinforced soil structures in India and abroad. There are different geometries you can have with this particular reinforced soil structures. You have a longitudinal profile either in a straight way or in a curved manner. You can have the facing options to accommodate the curvature and all. You can have the back slope at crest of wall. Means any sloping surcharge is there above the wall, you can design accordingly. Slope at toe can be considered in the design, and that can be also used. Also, you can have the wall founded on the embankment. Whenever any such embankments are there, you can consider that. Multi-tiered walls, wall above others, also can be designed and used. We have already done so many projects in the multi-tiered walls also. So all kind of geometry you can have, and you can design, and you can execute properly, and it will give the service life as per the design if it has been executed properly. So now we'll go to the design philosophy. What philosophy is involved and what are the checks one has to carry out for the reinforced soil wall designing. So to start with, any geometry and material properties, we have to define first all these things. Wall height, what is the batter angle you are going with. Preliminary sizing, because you need to have to start some assumption to start with. So you can consider the trial reinforcement length, minimum embedment depth, and also load consideration, the various combination of the load. Filling material is also play a very crucial role, because all the designs are based on the parameters you consider for the reinforced field and retained field, and also the ground improvement requirements if you have a foundation soil parameters. So you must have all this data available for designing. Also type of reinforcement and facing. Which type of reinforcement you are going to use and which facings as per the geometry and other considerations, groundwater conditions, and the performance requirements. So this is the data minimum data requirement for any designs to start with. Loading conditions, you need to have the dead load surcharges, live load surcharges, or you can consider as a traffic load, sloping surcharge if any, crash barrier load, seismic considerations, and also vehicle impact load. So all these things one has to know and consider with the various combinations in design as per the followed standard. When you do the external stability, you need to do the sliding, overturning, bearing capacity, and deep-seated stability, rotational failure check. So this is the external stability check. All this sliding, you have to do the limiting eccentricity, you can call it as a overturning check also, bearing, and also overall global stability checks. Some snapshots we have taken from the ASTO, FAWA, and BS 8006. Secondly, once you do the external stability, you have to check internal stability, because this is the internally stabilized wall as it comes in that classification. So we need to check the rupture, we need to check the adherence, pull-out, and also the serviceability criteria. So now the main topic, what we are just going to discuss today. So that is reinforced soil wall codes and design standards. So I think everybody who are doing the designing and involved with the weighting or approval process of these reinforced soil structures, they know that there are various standards available. Either you can call it ASTO or FAWA standards, BS 8006 British standards, German standards is there, EVGO, and you can have a AFNOR, French standards are available. So all these four are the major standard available in India and globally, you can say, for any of the structures designed with the reinforcement, means reinforced soil structures. So we go one by one, and we'll just have the some comparisons of the standards what peoples are using and are well accepted worldwide. So first is the FHWA NHI 10024. So that is also design and construction of mechanically stabilized earth walls and slopes. There is a British standards BS 8006, and the version is 2010, Code of Practice for Strengthening Reinforced Soil and Other Fields. German standard EVGO, that recommendations for design and analysis of earth structure uses geosynthetic reinforcement. Second edition, there is also version 2010. AFNOR, that is a French standard, geotechnical design, retaining structures and soil nailing structures. You can have that NFP 94270. So this is the global standards available. And in India, what we can have, we are having one IRC special publications of 102, where they have just given the guidelines for designing and construction of reinforced soil walls. And they have taken something from British standards, something for FHW, and they have given the procedure to design the reinforced soil wall in a static and seismic considerations. There are MORTA standards, 3100 is there. There are also specifications for road and bridge works. So they have not dealt with the design consideration majorly, but some guidelines for the consideration of the embedment depth and the filling material parameters, and that they have given. So in India, we have to also always rely on the available global standard only. So now come to the first standard, that is FHWA NHI 10024. This is the latest standard. It's a design and construction of mechanically stabilized earth walls and reinforced soil slopes. So these standards are based on method of LRFD, we can call load and resistance factor design. So that is the approach followed for the design. And design considers both static and seismic conditions. Means you can just do the entire design based on one standard, starting from static to seismic considerations of any zone. So preliminary length should be greater than 0.7 H or 2.5 M for initiating the design. So just to start the design, you have to have the minimum consideration for the length of the reinforcement is 0.7 H, and for the lower height it is to be 2.5. Then as the LRFD stands for, there is a CDR involved, means capacity to demand ratio. That is to quantify the ratio of factored resistance to that of the factored load. So there are some factors we have to consider for load, some resistance that we have to reduce by considering certain factors, and then we have to do the comparison. Here also potential failure surface for internally stability design is at 45 plus 5/2 from horizontal. Guidance for the seismic design is mentioned. Therefore, the design code is applicable for earthquake prone region. This is the important things we have to consider for FHWA standard. Secondly, now if we will go into this BS 8006-2010, latest one. So this is a name is, the standard name is Code of Practice for Strengthened Reinforced Soils and Other Fields. So this in particularly British standards, they have followed the limit state design concept, and with consideration of the partial load factors and partial material factors. So there are two methods as consideration of the inextensibility and extensibility of the reinforcement. Either one can go with the coherent gravity method for inextensible reinforcement, or else tieback wedge method for extensible reinforcement. And various load cases are there: load case A, load case B, load case C. So load case A stands for the consideration of the reinforcement strength requirement. B is for the sliding and pull out consideration. C is the serviceability criteria. So various load cases are there, various load factors are there, and partial safety factors one has to consider for designing. So 3 load case they have defined in BS standard. Design does not account for seismic condition. BS code suggests ASTO or AFNOR approach shall be followed for incorporating seismic forces in the design. So this sentence in BS standards they have incorporated in their amendment in 2016, because earlier just certain people knows that the BS has not considering seismicity and all. So we have to follow another standard for seismic checks. But in this BS, clearly they have mentioned now the ASTO or AFNOR approach. One has to consider for seismic consideration. Means BS is not considering any seismic designs in their standards. It has been proved. Now in India, BS 8006 is commonly practiced for static design. That is our requirement. So in India, we are just following 8006. Now if we go to the German standard EBGO, that is recommendations for design and analysis of earth structures using geosynthetic reinforcement. Second edition is 2010, which we referred. So in that, ultimate limit state and serviceability limit state is followed for the design. Here also the reinforcement requirement given 0.7 h as minimum, and h is the height of the structures. Whether in BS course, it's a mechanical height. That will also cover in our next comparison. Also, the vertical spacings of reinforcement layer, they have given 0.3 meter and 0.6 meter, means maximum to 0.6 meter. Now, they have not clearly defined the various cases or various combination of the load, but they have clearly mentioned that designer has to check potential slip surfaces regardless of whether they are intersecting the structure entirely, partially, or without cutting reinforcement layer apart from conventional checks. Means circular slip plane, logarithmic spirals, composite failure mechanism with at least 2 failure mechanism and slip vanes one has to consider. So planar, curved, or composite. All checks one has to carry out for any of the particular final systems they are going to adopt. If we go to the FNOR, that is the French standard, it's a geotechnical design. Retaining structures and soil nailing structures, its name is NFP 94270. It is also based on ultimate limit state and serviceability limit state. Different modes of ultimate limit state to be considered for design and analysis of RS wall. All are introduced in conjunction with Eurocode 7. So they have also referred Eurocode 7. And the designer also has to refer this code in conjunction with FNOR. And the reinforcement length, they have started with 0.4 HM. Here, this is the mechanical height. Means they are just considering as the British standard. What mechanical height concept is there. And vertical spacing is generally in order of 0.2 to 0.8 meter. So that is generally 0.8 restrictions are there in all other standards. So it is matching with that. Now, external stability calculations that includes here, or what they are asking us to check, is bearing capacity and overturning, forward sliding of the reinforced soil block, slip surface failure outside of the retaining structure. So this is the 3 checks, and internally we have to check tensile failure, adherence failure, then rupture in the facing caused by the insufficient facing resistance, and rupture in the facing caused by insufficient facing and reinforcement connection. So the facing is to be checked in both category. Then mixed stability, slip surface failure crossing at least one of the reinforcement layers. So that is also for the global stability checks that designer has to do. So this is the FNOR. So if broadly we will just consider the design philosophy behind all these standards. So ASTO or ASTO-B is the Federal Highway document, that is 10024. They are considering latest one is the LRFD based, means load and resistant factor designs. And all other standards, either you can consider BAS, EBGO, FNOR, or what IRC SP 102 of Indian standard base are on limit state design. So regardless of the design methodology followed in different codes, the core analytical method for reinforced soil walls such as external and internal stability evaluation remain unchanged. So all standards are asked us to do external and internal stability in one way or other. So all the mechanisms remain same, only the factors are changing, or the load and resistance factor, one standards are going to ask us to do. In other standards, we have certain partial safety factors, and we have to consider certain factor of safety for designing. So this is the design philosophy and some comparisons based on the available standards, accepted available standards globally. Now, what Indian guidelines available for reinforced soil wall? So what it says, load factors are applied to the disturbing forces to increase the value, and partial material factors are applied to resistance to reduce their values. So it's a LRFD kind of things, wordings they have given. Each code differs in the value and application of load and material factors. So in IRC SP 102, if we go in depth, what they have considered, So they have considered for the static design BS 8006, and they have asked us to carry out the federal highway designs as per the for the seismic considerations. And the seismic zones one has to consider from IS 1893. We know that this IS 1893s are for the building code. So there are if and buts whenever we are just considering the importance factor, region factor, all these things. So the values are differing whenever we are taking into consideration for reinforced soil wall. So that issue also we have addressed to the committee, which are just revising this IS 1893, and they are going to consider they are going to give that which factors designer has to consider zone wise for designing any of the seismic design for reinforced soil structures. But if you can say, see the broadly in this particular consideration of IRC SP 102, they have considered BS 8006 for a static and the ASTO or a FHWA. So BS is based on the mechanical height, whereas FHW is based on the geometric height. So there are differences in between certain approaches. So that is also one has to consider. If we can go to the MORTA specification, the design of reinforced soil walls and slope, they have given that it should be done in accordance with the BS 806 or FHWA 02425, that is for the slope, and FNOR as applicable. So this is the wording, means they have covered all these three code. One has to go through, and means anybody can do anything, either they will do the BS and FHW, they can do BS with FNOR. So there is no as such clear-cut guidelines available till that in the published standards or specification in India. So that is the confusion each and every person who is going to approve this or who is going to design this are just facing in India. Now design height consideration. So in FHWA, they are considering geometric height. Now, if you can see the minimum sizing of the reinforced soil structure, it is 0.7 H. So when one person start design with the guidelines available in FHWA, they will start with the 0.7 of the geometric height. Another person is doing the design as per BS or FNOR. So they have to consider the mechanical height, that is slight more than the geometric height. So the 0.7 H requirement will be on a higher side. But if we are just seeing separately only one code like BS 8006, so they are not considering seismic. So that's why they have considered another aspects to just have that factor of safety. In FNOR also same way, mechanical height is there. So from initial stage only that both the designs are separate out at certain point. So this is the height consideration in a various standards. Embedment. If we can go for the embedment for reinforced soil walls, what FHWA says, you have to consider H by 20 or 600 mm. That is the minimum embedment. BS has given also H by 20 for or 450 mm, and some bearing capacity criteria they have given. FNOR has given 400 mm, but there is no clear-cut guidelines is available in EBGO, German code, for the embedment depth. If you can have the toe at the slope as shown in the figure below, then there is some different embedment depth ratio with respect to the bearing pressures one has to consider with the slope angle at the front of the ground. So it has also clearly defined in FNOR. So this is the additional thing FNOR has added whenever we are designing, and this such scenarios are there at site. So many places such scenario may also come. So for designing this, if the criteria is there, one can consider this criteria. So now minimum reinforcement length. If we can compare all the standards, FHW has given 0.7 H and 2.5. British standards 0.7 H and 3 meter. FNOR 0.4 H and 2.5. And EBAGO has not given minimum length criteria but 0.7 H. and h is the height of the RS wall. In case of British standard and AFNOR, it is mechanical height. So it is slight more than the geometric height. So this is the criteria they have given for the minimum length requirement. If we can go for the reinforced field specifications, because that is also very much crucial parameters or design considerations when we are just doing the designs. So in FHWA, they have given maximum grain size one can use is 100 mm. This is 0.24. Then the fines are less than equal to 15%, PI is less than equal to 6, CU is greater than 4. The friction angle one can use in between 30 to 34 for designing. So that is the criteria FHWA follows. If you can go with the BS, they have given as per the material available, different categories of material they have just listed out, 6I, 6J, 7B, 7C, 7D. So if you can just go with that, selected well-graded granular material, then uniformly graded granular, conditional pulverized Pondas, wet cohesive, stony cohesive. So they have clearly classified various fill parameters which are available, and based on that they have given. So if you can see for this two materials, they have not given any plasticity PI criteria, but uniformly coefficient is higher, and also they have restricted the fines. So might be that criteria may satisfy considering the other parameters they have freezed. Now for 7C, 7D, they have given this criteria. Basically, this material they can use for the slope. This 6I, 6J, they are requiring for the wall. In SP102 or MORTH. So in MORTH, they have considered these parameters based on the earlier FHWA. This is a 43, this is 24. So in earlier FHWA, the maximum grain size was given as a 75. So the same specifications they have followed. 30 to 34 is the phi. But then also the note less than 30 degree they are not allowing. So this is the broad comparisons one can just say for the different standards which are available and followed in India and abroad. So for the reinforced field specification. Certain code for the retained field, they are also telling the same reinforced field specifications can be used for the retained field also. But in MORTH and IRC SP102, they have relaxed up to 25 pH value of the material one can use as a retained field applications. So now we'll go with the one my study which I have done for the BS 8006 standard and ASTO LRFD. Why I have selected these two is, if we can see whatever the Indian standard available right now, they have just asked designer to go with static design as per British standard, and any seismic design they have to carry out, they have to consider the ASTO LRFD, that is FHWA standards. So because these two standards they have specified, and now the for so many years all the designers and all the approving authority also recommending this only, people are following this combination of these two standards, one for the static and one for the seismic, and based on that only the IRC SP102 is also based. So I thought, okay, let us have a comparison for the designing. If we do with the BS and with the ASTO LRFD, what all are the difference and why this difference is, and is it possible to go for the only single standard as per the requirement of the topographically conditions and the seismicity in India. So that was the thought behind these comparisons, and then we did some analysis, and then that we'll discuss. So the contents in this my particular comparison is that we have done the comparison between British standards and FHWA. We did the analysis and compare the results and derive certain conclusions based on our results. So broadly, we will just consider what are the difference in between FHWA and the BS. So design approach is LRFD, means load resistance factor design. And here is the limit state design, ultimate limit state and serviceability limit state. So there are the different load cases they have given. Geometry is to be defined by consideration of the minimum length of 0.7 h, and in that h is the geometric height. Whereas in BS, if you consider 0.7 h, where h is the mechanical height, that is the major difference. If we can go with the embedment, though is required, but can be considered or not in the passive resistance, that is they have keep it open in both the standards. But generally in designing, people are not considering any passive resistance. Reinforced soil parameters. So soil resistance is based on peak, here also peak values, so there won't be any difference. If we can just check the sliding and the formula what they have given, so simplest evaluation of sliding at the base they have given with the consideration of the factor 1. So the CDR value, capacity to demand ratio, should be greater than or equal to 1. And here the factor of safety is the 1.3. So other things, resisting mass and the disturbing mass and all these things, moments are okay. But whatever we have to consider here, the demand ratio, capacity to demand ratio is 1, here 1.3. So in that way, we can say this is BS is more conservative than FHWA. If we can just consider the eccentricity, so they have considered two eccentricity. One is for the load eccentricity and one is for the bearing capacity. As if British standards has given only one eccentricity, that is for the bearing capacity. So equation for the bearing capacity, that is remains same. Maximum tensile load at reinforcement. So the Coulomb theory, neglecting wall friction, slope surcharge they have adapted. Here Meyerhoff's theory. So wall frictions can be considered. So they have also kept it open for the designers to consider. Maximum tension line is same in both the cases. Whenever you are considering the LTDS, means the long-term design strength of any of the geosynthetic material you are going to use as a reinforcement. So this equation comes and this different factors will come. If you can go with the FHWA, one is installation damage, one is creep, and one is durability. So they have given this three factor. Similar way here also, you can have the creep, installation damage, and these two factors they are considering, three factors rather, for weathering, chemical, and long term. So this is the three factors they are considering for the durability. So all these together is the one factor, and this whatever the resistance factor here they are considering, that is 0.9, and here Fn is 1.1. So 1 upon 1.1, I think is nearby the same value. So there won't be much difference in these two considerations. It may come nearby values only. If we consider the reinforcement length in the sliding zone, so that is also similar. There won't be any change. In resisting zone, means behind the failure line, if we can say, so that is also L minus LA, LEJ, here also LE. So nothing difference in that. If we go with the combinations, so in FHWA they have given various combinations for the resistance and for the serviceability consideration. So these two is the must. Then they are asked if needed, you can go with the extreme event 1. This is for the seismic consideration. Secondly, extreme event 2, when you are just going to have the impact load. So if any impact load you have to consider for due to the traffic impact, that can be considered in the extreme event 2 conditions, and also flood condition. So both the things are covered in extreme event 2. Event 1 is for the seismic, and this resistance and serviceability checks one has to carry out. So this is the things, limit state and service limit state governs the design major. So this is the various combinations what FHWA has given. And as discussed in BS, British standards, they have given combination A, means with the higher factors for the resisting and disturbing forces. Then combination of B, your disturbing forces are increased, but resistance mass as it is. Then combination of C without any factors, you can have the serviceability checks. So first two combinations are sufficient, means it can cover major of the criteria. Whenever you are just going to consider the post-construction strain and other things, for that serviceability conditions, you need to have the requirement of tensile strength in a serviceability check. So these two codes has given different combinations of load. So as per the requirement, one can go for the checks. Now, what we did, we have just seen what all are the differences for the various considerations in FHW and the BS standards. So we have just designed 4 height of the wall: 3 meters, 6 meter, 9 meter, and 12 meter, based on ASTO LRFD and BS 8006. And for designing this wall, we have considered certain parameters. Our reinforced fill is 0, 30, 20. Retained fill is also 30, 20. Foundation soil we have considered as a firm foundation. Coefficient of direct sliding 0.8. Pull out also that we have considered 0.8. Here we have considered peak ground acceleration factor 0.1 only, means seismic zone 2. So we can have the actual comparisons between the two standard. So generally we have ignored the higher seismicity areas. So we can have the comparisons between these two means appropriately. If we can just go for the live load considerations, what our IRC code says, we have to consider as a 1.2 times of the unit weight of the soil. So in this case, it is around 24. And the partial safety factor BS is using is 1.5. So these also to have on a similar platform, we can consider 20.57 live load value for ASTO LRFD, because the partial safety factors for ASTO is 1.75. So this is also, we are on a same path. So now comparison between results obtained for the analysis of reinforced soil wall with increasing height for tensile forces in reinforcement and length of reinforcement beyond the failure plane. So what we did in this comparison, we did the design of all the heights. We compared the tensile forces for all the layers, how much sigma Tj is required for particular height of wall in the case of BS and in the case of FHWA, and what is the length requirement beyond failure line, that is LEJ, in resisting zone for all the layer, which sigma LEJ for BS and for FHWA, and then we have compared all the values. So that we have given in the figure 1 and figure 2. So if we can go with first comparison of both the standards, we have a 3, 6, 9, 12, all the height of the wall. As per FHWA, this is a sigma LEJ length requirement total for the height, particular height beyond failure zone. So this is the total length requirement. And in BS, this is the requirement of length. It is slightly higher. If graph, you can say this is the for FHWA, and the above graph is the for the BS. So this is the values we have obtained, and we have just received this. This is basically the main thing. We just know that BS consideration is of the mechanical height, and FHWA consideration is the geometric height. So the minimum length requirement 0.7h is higher in BS compared to FHWA, and that is reflecting in this particular comparison. If we consider the tensile strength requirement, so this also you can just see the graph, or these two lines are widening as we go up, and it is much higher at higher heights. So the tensile strength requirement will also govern, because all the vertical mass we are considering for the length, and because of the mechanical height concept, whatever the dead load or the soil load you are considering, that is also on higher side in the case of BS. And it shows that the BS is conservative in consideration for the tensile strength also, and the length of reinforcement also. So for all the checks, it will give a higher result. So the conclusions what we have derived from these is ASTO, LRFD and BS have difference in partial safety and resistance factors and basis for minimum reinforcement length evaluating different result for the designer. Now for the reinforcement length, major BS and ASTO variation, one is for the mechanical height, another is the geometric height. So in percentage wise, if we can see, so the 25% variations for lower height, and that is up to 10% for 12-meter height. So that is the difference. As we go up, this is reducing. For the tensile forces also, partial load factors and resistance factors play a crucial role, and that is from 12 to 22% difference, from 3-meter height to 12% for 3 meter to 22% for 12-meter maximum height. Now after this, we have not covered that comparisons in our this particular consideration, but if we can consider for the higher zone, because BS was silent on a seismic, means whatever designs I have done for the zone 2, if I'll consider the same design, then it is applicable for any kind of, because I am not checking anything additionally. But if FHW, if I'll check for the zone 3, zone 4 or zone 5 even, then the length will also increase tremendous, requirement of tensile strength will also increase, and the margin what we are just seeing here, it is eliminating, and at certain case for the very high seismic zone and for higher heights, it may cross this BS also. So what our conclusion after this is, both design practices have merits and demerits, but provide satisfactory results and are accepted. Further to that, ASTO LRFD consider realistically static and seismic condition, hence more preferable in country like USA, where different zone factors for seismicity are present. And same is applicable to us also. Now in BS 806 does not account for any seismic considerations, and thus can be applicable for countries where seismic zone are uniform throughout, and that is also on a lower side. Because in UK or in British areas, whatever it may be, there they don't experience any higher seismicity. No seismic zone is there. So they are least bothered about the least seismicity, and what they did for the certain more factor of safety, they have just given that design concept like that it can sustain the seismic behavior of their topography of their country with the increase in certain factor of safety and mechanical height and other concept. So they are okay with that. But for us to go only British standards, that is not possible, because we are having very high seismic areas in India. So latest amendment in BS also recommend use of either ASTO or FNOR for seismic design consideration. So they have added in 2016. So this is again, if we go inside of ASTO and FNOR, ASTO is more applicable for India, because FNOR is also not that, they are also not considering that much higher severity. They have also given a caution note, okay, for the certain seismicity only you have to follow FNOR. So ultimately the ASTO is the final design concept which is most suitable for our country, for India. So that's why ASTO LRFD is best suitable guidance for India, considering the similarity in seismicity regions, and similar approach is maintained for both static and seismic as well. So after these conclusions, I have also put up all these things to the committee of the British standard, where we are just forming the design, means code, you can say it's a code only, for the designing of reinforced soil structures. And the committee is convinced that it is better to go entirely with the ASTO LRFD approach for Indian context. Because if we consider half a way to BS and then half a way for seismic for the ASTO or for FHWF, then the both concept at certain levels are differing. So we cannot have the whatever the concept we are just doing in static design and all the values we can't consider in the seismic and do our analysis for seismicity. So either way we have to do the two design, means for to check seismic also we have to do static design in ASTO. So that is a cumbersome job, and also for the seismicity we have to go to the LRFD concept only. So in that way, this is the acceptable one, and now we have already submitted that entire chapter also. Committee is going through the chapter, and might be we can conclude this for another 5-6 months with other things also included in that, and we can have the our Indian code based on ASTO LRFD will be there for designers to do the designing for reinforced soil structures. So thank you very much, sir.